Right, so good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Amir. I am a food scientist, and I'm presenting Calorie Assist, the a food product that is a nano encapsulated oil powder on behalf of my team members, Jennifer Braxton, a nutritionist, and Hussein Vujudi, a nanochemist. So the product that we are proposing here is a product that targets low-weight individuals. So the idea came from the fact that Jennifer, one of our team members, has a daughter who suffers from being underweight, and the products that are available in the market just does not meet that demand, and there are some downforce for that product. So just putting that in perspective, just overall population, looking at the US population, everyone is just interested in getting food products or getting products doing an activity just reduces the weight, but we are missing about 1.6% of the population who are suffering from being underweight. They have a BMI of less than 18, and they're about 5.5 million. So we start with this. So that is just the start population and the group that we have, because it is hard for being underweight. You can just ignore that part because you don't know how being underweight be like dangerous, because osteoporosis is one of the risks. Being unable to lift weights, decreased muscle strength, and lower immunity, and even just malnutrition. So these are the problems that are associated with just being underweight. So just boosting calorie is an important step here than having a balanced diet. So boosting calorie requires adding some like high calorie components to the diet. So current products that target this population fall under two main categories. So on the right, you see Ensure and Boost. They want to boost the calorie by adding sugar and protein to the diet of these people. To the left, you have Benicalor from Nestle. So they're adding fat to the diet of these people to boost their calorie. So these are two main categories. Now, looking at the ingredients on these products, they are, as the consumers say, they're loaded with food additives, scientifically safe, but consumers do not like it. So food additives, chemical additives are just one of the limitations. And another factor that customers have complained about after doing the thematic analysis of customer reviews on major websites of these customers, like that they purchase these products, Amazon, Nestle, and Walmart, we realized that it's not easy to apply in all foods. And also it's pricey. Plus, one of the common complaints is just the aftertaste, the mouthfeel, chalkiness, being greasy for the Nestle products, and the taste and aversion to the aftertaste of that is just one of the main problems that we have identified. So we are looking at that as like a gap in the market, that they're looking at customers are looking at something that can mask the flavor, can be added to anything, and also is cheap. So we have expertise in our team, and that is nanotechnology. And let's just put that, just go back to the smaller scales. It's just very like nanoscale. So in the nanoscale, what we want to do is that this is the oil core of a small nanoscale powder. So this is a powder that we want to convert oil to powder. This nano oil core has a masking shell. So this masking shell covers this oil. So that is just the first step for making that powder. And on top of that, we can just add fat-soluble agents. So we can attach the fat-soluble agents or water-soluble agents. So we can just customize that so it can be added to any fat-based or water-based food products. So it is easy to be blended in any food products at any temperature. It's just something that we just change and customize based on temperature, based on type of the food, and based on the application. The target customer is going to be the food industry, or the end product will go to the consumers. So the target is increasing the calorie. It is very customizable, and the cost is about 35% lower, and it's very versatile. It can be added in any form, just you can scoop it and add it to the food, or you can sprinkle on top of the food. Outside of that, one of the most important roles of the fats is adding texture, adding mouthfeel, because it reduces the friction inside your mouth. So it can be added to your coffee to give it the body to the coffee. It can be added to any food product you can think of, ice cream in the industrial level, or can be added to your pizza to add texture and taste to the food product. So the first step is going to be they're low weight individuals, but it has multiple applications after that product. So that was our overview of the product.
So I'm having a little trouble understanding your target market, because I saw the cheeseburger and the pizza, which I love, and I don't fall into the category underweight. So who are we targeting it to?
So the target that we are focusing at this point are those individuals who are struggling to gain weight. It's so that is the target market, 5.5 million people in the U.S. So that's
And let me, if I can, I'm sorry, elaborate on that. Are they struggling to add weight because of eating disorder, health issues?
So there are multiple medical or non-medical so anything that is just related to the medical or non-medical reasons. So we just want to make it like more general. Yeah, anorexia nervosa can be like an example category of that, but it just can be like genetics. So there is a metabolic pathway involved here. So the absorption is lower, the process of metabolic pathways is different, so there are many medical reasons, but to just make it general so we don't need to go through all the loops of FDA approval, so that's the reason that we are just, at this point, we're just making that general. Paul?
When you started the presentation, I thought maybe this was like an FDA level 1 type of product. You could sell it at Giant, or on the counter at the Walgreens. But it sounds like you're targeting people with specific needs. Do you have to get FDA clearance on this? In other words, are you targeting medical professionals who will then prescribe this to their...
So we are not targeting medical professionals. We're just targeting general consumers. But the general consumer food products that are available, so it's going to be as to target direct consumers or customers. But there's an option that, like, there are other food products, like current food products available that they want to use our food, our supplements.
Just to follow up, so then you don't have to go, you have to present this to the Food and Drug Administration, or you can bypass them based on your target market?
We can bypass them based on the target market, yes.
Okay, is this a product that would have different flavors? I heard that you can sprinkle it on your foods. Would this have different flavors, or can you elaborate on the taste?
The shell that I showed you, can be a variety of the food grade materials. For example, there is it's like beeswax. It can be used as a shell, and any flavor or taste can be added. But our goal here is just to masking the taste. So it's going to be odorless, flavorless, because consumers are complaining about that, and they have PTSD of using these products.
Thank you.
You mentioned that the cost was going to be lower, on the lower scale. What would it be a cost per serving?
Okay, so if we consider like just based on 1 ounce, the current food products that I showed there are just about $1 per ounce. We are looking at $0.6 to $0.7 an ounce.
Steve?
Yes, has any testing been done on the efficacy of the product?
Okay. So we have the knowledge, we have the skills in our team. So so we know what we want to do, and we have a good picture. So the only thing is just the first trial and having the prototype. So that is the funding that we are just working on to get it through the R15 and also business administration.
We're all done, judges? Thank you very much. Okay, we're coming down to the wire.
All right, sorry for jumping again there. So, as I said, my name is Tom Ward, co-founder of Chester County startup EPOC. We design electric boats. Believe it or not, I love boats. My co-founder and I are long-term boaters. We're passionate about being on the water, and we were lucky enough to convert that passion into dream jobs working in the recreational marine industry for both startups and some of the biggest companies in the industry. But what we did at those companies was great for them and great for our careers. It was pretty bad for the environment. Recreational boating is one of the most negatively, environmentally impactful activities that an American can partake in. It's pretty common to see boats with huge engines, the same size you would see on a full-size pickup truck, multiplied by 3, 4, 5. These engines get about 2 miles per gallon on the water, and due to EPA exemptions, emit 50 times more pollution than an on-road vehicle. When we apply that to the 13 million boats in use in America, we do some quick math and we see emissions equivalent to 600 million automobiles. There's only 300 million cars on the road in this country, so it's a pretty big problem. While the environmental impact of recreational boating can't be understated, it's not top of mind when people are making purchase decisions, and we know we need to solve those type of problems as well. Last year, 98% of individuals that wanted to buy a boat and entered the sales funnel ultimately opted out. About half of them cited concerns about maintenance. Boats are pretty notorious for being in the shop all the time. Another 35% cited concerns about hitting costs, largely related to volatile fuel pricing. The good news is we have a solution for the environmental problems and the buyer problems related to boats, and it's to go electric. The bad news is, it's actually pretty hard to do that. Some companies have already tried, they've had performance issues with speed and range, or they've gotten great performance, but they've had products that just don't make sense for the average buyer with price tags of several $100,000. So the EPOC co-founding team came together to solve these problems. We have decades of experience commercializing electromechanical products in the marine space with both engineering and sales on our resumes. We have audacious climate goals that transition boating from being one of the most negatively environmentally impactful activities to being a net positive for the environment. And we're doing it with high performance boats that are fast and fun, people actually want to ride, and they can also afford. The key to our technology started at the whiteboard, and it was about designing a boat specifically for batteries. It turns out that much like electrification is hard, hydrodynamic design is pretty hard. And if you design a boat for a gas outboard, you have a lot of compromises that need to be made. You can't just slap an electric outboard on and make it work. So we started with high performance hull design, leveraging the ability to distribute batteries. And when we add that to our proprietary hydrofoil system, we can get boats that go 1.5 times faster and 3 times further than the competition. And for reference, the hydrofoils are those green moving things under the boat. They kind of act like airplane wings. When coupled with our proprietary manufacturing process, we can make electric boats that are about the same price as gas-powered competition on the market. We've done extensive customer interviews, and we found a way that we can build boats to 80% and then finalize the last 20% at a configuration level for our customers so that we can do scale production and target mass market saleable opportunities with different price points and feature sets. The $56 billion recreational boating industry is a pretty mature market. It's not really expected to grow very much in the coming years, but the electric niche is exciting. It's doubling year on year, and it's expected to grow 14x by the end of the decade. We're targeting the heart of the boating market. 90% of new boats retail for less than $50,000 and are less than 26 feet long. And that's exactly where we're aimed at with our $35,000 starting price point and 14 to 18 foot length. We launched last year. We opened a customer wait list and we got some media attention. As of today, our wait list has more than $4.2 million in customer commitments, all direct to consumer online introductions. As we scale the business, we're going to look at B2B opportunities. We already have some dealers that we're looking at setting up supply agreements with, and then fleets that can allow us to both build and deliver boats in bulk. As of today, we have prototypes on the water. We're in the process of raising a seed round. We're going to use that funding to build out a 300 boat per year pilot production facility that'll allow a $10 million revenue run rate. It'll allow key hires to reduce pound costs by about 15%. And to finalize development of next generation models to expand beyond the Skiff series. And then obviously it'll let us fulfill our current waitlist demand and open up sales to the public. So the future of boating is electric, and I'd like to welcome you all aboard. Thank you.
Who's first, judges? Paul?
You talked about range. What's the range on that particular engine?
So range is a tricky problem. It's not like a car where you can just go and say, I've got this much gas or this much battery. But for this boat in particular, we will do about 4 hours of hard testing and we'll have 50% of the battery left. And at the end of that, it's not we're stopping because the boat doesn't have enough battery, it's we're stopping because the passengers on the boat don't want to keep going because being on water for that long can be uncomfortable. So we're really tailoring our range capability to what a typical use case is like on the water. For this boat in particular, it's between 10 and 20 miles depending on the conditions.
What's the composition of the boat? Is it fiberglass or?
Welded aluminum.
Not familiar. And the battery weight, is that an issue?
It's not an issue. So again, it's dependent on use case. If we were to have the same range capability as a gas powered boat, the battery would be an issue. But because we look at it and say, the worst part of a gas boat, in my opinion, is having to drive Wawa and fill it up every couple of weeks. And we take away that customer problem because you just plug it in at home and we're able to have about 80 pounds battery weight for 5 kilowatt hours of battery. And that fits the use case for this particular model.
Okay, that was going into my question. You plug the battery in at home, so it detaches from the engine, I assume?
The battery is built into the boat, and then you park it somewhere near an outlet and plug it into the outlet.
So, okay, so putting it in a marina or anything like that when I'm not using it, that doesn't work, right? I've got to pull it out of the water, take it home, plug it in, and bring it back the next day.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions, judges?
How does your product compare to the competition in terms of range, battery life?
So our real competition is not other electric boats today, because every other electric entrant on the market has about a $300,000 price tag, and they're looking at different categories of boats. Our real competition is gas-powered boats. Our range is about 20% of what you would see on a gas-powered boat. But again, it's use case dependent. So on a typical gas powered boat, you might go to the fuel dock or to Wawa once every 4 or 5 times that you use the boat. And since we have 20% of that range, it just means you have to plug in our boat every time you use it. Which, that's already customer behavior because most people plug in their boats to top off the batteries, the starting batteries on their gas powered boats.
Katie?
It looked like you had quite a wait list for orders, right? How long do you anticipate it'll take you to fulfill those?
So we have about 6 to 8 months of lead time from the close of our round, just based on real estate capability and some specialized equipment that we need to bring in. And then from that point on, we can build 10 to 20 boats a week once we're staffed out and we're ready to go.
And where's your manufacturing going to take place?
Hopefully either in Malvern or Coatesville. Right now we have some flex space opportunities that we've been negotiating with on those 2 locations. The Malvern being a smaller space for early scaling, and then Coatesville has larger spaces that we could potentially move into.
The question was asked about the manufacturing of the boat. How about the motor? Is that,
So as of today, we are using motors supplied by third-party manufacturers, and we're doing that to limit our liability. We do have a roadmap to go and bring motor manufacturing and design in-house because we can eke out more efficiency if we control the motor. But for speed to market and liability, limiting liability, we're using third-party initially.
is it produced in the US or overseas?
That particular motor is produced in Germany, but we do have a couple other vendors that are US based.
And we're out of time. Thank you very much. Judges ready? Okay.
Wonderful. Hi, I'm Nicole Gordon. I'm half Japanese, and I grew up spending all of my summers in Hawaii and eating with my family, eating and enjoying all kinds of Asian food. Depending on when we landed, it was either Korean barbecue or Chinese dim sum. Unfortunately, in my mid-20s, I developed a whole bunch of food allergies, including to soy, sesame, coconut, just to name a few. But it turns out I'm not alone in loving Asian food and having food allergies. In fact, the growth in popularity of Asian cuisine is growing at a compound annual growth rate of nearly 12%. And then the growth in demand for allergy-friendly food products is growing at more than twice that amount at 27%. And yet there's a big barrier between these two huge popular growing food trends, and it's impeding their growth. And that barrier is soy sauce. It's so essential to East Asian cuisine, and it's absolutely everywhere. And I knew for both myself and for other people who suffered with this love of Asian food and food allergies, I needed to do something about it, and that breakthrough is Nikigo. And Nikigo allows for the creation of a whole new food segment, allergy-friendly Asian. And it removes that soy sauce barrier from these two incredibly popular food trends. So Nikigo is a fully developed product. You can see it on the end here, and you can see it in this picture. And it's truly a breakthrough. There's no other soy-free alternative on the market that tastes like soy sauce. And in fact, we taste tested it at 2 food industry events, and this is a sampling of some of the feedback we received. One of my absolute favorite feedback that we got was from Chef Kaimani Chi. He's from Hawaii, where I spent my summers, and his response was, "It tastes like my childhood." And really, I couldn't have asked for better feedback. Now the market. The US soy sauce market is a $10 billion a year industry, and yet, if you want soy sauce right now and you can't have soy, you have to rely on something called coconut aminos, which is all imported to the United States and is a rebrand of an already existing Southeast Asian sauce. As a result, it has a fundamental sweetness that can't be removed because it's coconut nectar that's been fermented. But people are so desperate, they buy it a lot. This is just a sampling of some of the brands that are available out there. The most popular brand, Coconut Secret, is sold in over 10,000 stores, and most large grocery stores have their own store brand. In blind taste tests, which I love to do with people, we beat coconut aminos more than 90% of the time, and we beat Kikkoman, a leading brand of soy sauce, more than 50% of the time. So, once I solved the soy sauce problem, we can now make a whole range of allergy-friendly sauces, Asian sauces that rely on soy sauce. So this is a sampling of some of the sauces I've already developed, including multiple teriyaki sauces, gyoza sauce, Chinese chili sauces like Chu Chow and Chili Crisp. If there's an Asian sauce that relies on soy sauce, we can make it. But we don't plan on stopping at sauces. We eventually see ourselves getting into the packaged food realm, so your instant ramen will be top 9 allergen-free, your chicken teriyaki meal, that'll be Nikigo too. Our growth plan. Our initial plan is going to be direct to consumers via online sales. For this reason, the food allergy world is very online. Facebook groups, Instagram, everyone's saying, do you trust this brand? Do you trust this recipe? We want to be the brand that they trust, so we're going to be targeting them first. And also, we really hope that this will allow us to control our growth to some degree, as the main question we get asked is, where can we buy it? Hopefully that answer will soon be Nikigo.com. Next, we're going to be targeting the food service realm. Anybody we meet in food service immediately understands the need for Nikigo. They have to meet people's dietary restrictions and food allergies. Nikigo allows them to do that easily, and everybody likes things that are easy. So we'll be targeting the large food service providers like Aramark and Sodexo and large hospitality chains like Disney and Hilton, for example. And then after that, we will eventually get into full retail. Now, to meet this sort of growth, rocket ship growth that we sort of see happening, we will eventually need to find a production partner. We have a few in mind in the area to meet that demand and growth. But we have to start somewhere. So we're in the process of doing our first 1,000 bottle run, but we're currently self-funded and things have costs. So we need to rent our own facility where we can control the top 9 allergen aspects. We need to buy and rent equipment, buy bottles, miscellaneous expenses, and of course we have to buy ingredients. What are the ingredients? Well, those are Chester County grown mushrooms, and that's why I moved my whole family from Arizona, was for this business. So we take Chester County grown mushrooms, we add salt and water, and some magic, aka Nikigo's proprietary process, and turn it into Nikigo original sauce. Here's a sampling of some of my favorite Asian foods that I've been able to make with Nikigo original sauce and some of our other sauces. And I hope soon I won't be the only one getting to enjoy this, and everyone will get to enjoy their favorite Asian foods safely and tastily. But we say, if you have food allergies, we'll be your only choice. But if you don't have food allergies, we'll be your new favorite too. That's why we're Asian for all. Thank you so much.
Lisa?
Question. So I noticed on your growth plan that you have as step 3, full scale retail
Yes.
grocery. Can you tell me the reason why why that's number 3 instead of number 2?
So the reason we want to do retail third of all is that it has the lowest profit margin. And when we're talking about food service, we can do giant jugs that we're sending to people as opposed to individualized bottles. And of course you have to deal with the middlemen of getting stocked on shelves. We know we would be very popular to retail market if we had pictures at Whole Foods and nearly a third of their shelf is devoted to gluten-free and soy-free alternatives right now, and we could knock them out of the water. But for us, it's more about let's get that high profit margin at individual sales. Let's get that food service because they need our products. And then from there, we see ourselves getting into full retail.
Thank you.
Paul?
Your product, are you buying it directly from the growers, or are you going to wholesalers?
When it comes to the mushrooms, so our goal is an ideal partner is a mushroom farmer that has their own production facility, and there are about 3 of them in the area that we are hoping to come with a full plan. Once we sell our 1,000 bottles, we want to use some of that to get some orders and hopefully arrange a good production deal with one of those people. One of the big issues we have is the mushroom industry, as you know, is a very traditional industry. We're proposing something revolutionary, a whole new food segment. And so we need to demonstrate to them that there is this new food segment. There are people looking for that. I mean, 1 in 4 American households is actively looking and purchasing allergy-friendly products. And that demand is only increasing. And the food allergy world is loyal. If they know that they can trust you, they rebuy, because the average food allergy consumer spends more than 5 minutes reading a label. If they know that you can buy our product and you don't have to spend any time reading the label, can you imagine how much faster your grocery shopping would be? That is our target consumer.
How does your main ingredient of mushrooms versus the coconut, how does it compare in price? Are you going to be able to be competitive?
Yes, we will be able to be competitive, and one of the great things about that is we assume that once we reach full scale, we will be at 20% more than coconut aminos for our 8-ounce bottle. We call ourselves attainable luxury. Our first 1,000 bottle run, we're doing as just that, a very special launch, artisan pricing, 4-ounce bottle, special magnet with a little 1 in the Nikigo label as a first supporter, just as a way of getting our product out there, but not to be the profit driver. But also, Nikigo Original is not the profit maker for this business. It has the lowest profit margin of any of the other products. And so that's why we very quickly would like to expand into the whole range. of secondary products, because your bottle of teriyaki sauce is often more expensive than your bottle of soy sauce, yet it's half sugar and water. So you can just see that once you establish your name and you solve that puzzle of the foundational keystone that is the soy sauce, anything else is possible, and that growth is where the money is really at.
Anything else, judges?
I got a real quick one. Is anybody else making, is anyone else making soy sauce with mushrooms?
No.
Want to
In
chip
fact, a startup, incubator came up to us and said they got hired to make a mushroom-based soy sauce and failed, so they were obviously interested in us.
So the only problem I see, I realize that it's very expensive to do early stage batches. From the handout that you gave us, you need about $15,000 to do 1,000 bottles, which means you have to sell them at $15 a piece just to break even. Is the market tolerance there?
Absolutely. So there's actually currently at Whole Foods a $10 4-ounce bottle of soy sauce being sold, and all they do is age it in bourbon barrels. So there is a luxury soy sauce market out there, and in fact, we often say we're taste compared to more expensive luxury soy sauces that have been aged longer, but we want to be at a price point that's for the average consumer down the line. But our taste is actually a more expensive taste, which is kind of funny.
Okay, I think we're out of time. Thank you. Judges, please finish your story.
Okay, so at this point in the program, we are going to have our judges go into the deliberation room to briefly look at the scores and determine who is first, second in each track, and then our overall winner. While that is taking place, as I mentioned, we are going to have a presentation from Zach Starr of his product Quicks, his company Quicks. Zach here? Oh, here he is. So if you can all hang tight. I don't think it'll be too long of a deliberation process, and then we'll have our results, hand out our awards, and so forth. So with that, I will. Thank you to all of our participants this evening. We have first and second place in each track. Second place receives a cash prize of $1,000. First place, a cash prize of $2,000, and there's additional $3,000 for our overall winner. So we go with that. You're all winners in the room tonight, and regardless of which position you are in, please continue to pursue your venture and know that the Cottrell Center is there to help support you to get to the next level, as well as some of the judges might be able to support you going forward, and the Keiretsu Forum. So with that, I will ask Katie to come on up, and I'm going to present the awards, and then I'm going to ask you to go over to the step repeat there, the first and second place, to get a picture with the person who is presenting your particular award. So let me go grab it here. Okay, so in second place for the Chester County High School track, we have at-home blood counts. Yep, come on up, come on up. Katie will present the award, and then just wait over there. I'm good. I don't need it. You don't need it either. Yep. We're loud now.
Congratulations, great job.
And then wait over there, and we'll get a pic. We can get a pic with both. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead and make the announcement.
Okay, and then in first place, obviously, we have SIFT. And this book is from Victor Shanahan, and another team is from East High School. Okay, please. Here you go, it's right here.
Congratulations, great job. Sorry, congratulations.
Okay, so next I would ask Lisa to come up and help me present to the Westchester University undergrad track. So in second place, we have Navarro. And in first place, we have Women in Business. And now we will move on to the Westchester University Graduate Alumni Faculty and Staff track. And I would ask Dr. Monica Zimmerman to please come up and help me present these awards. Monica is the Executive Director at the Cottrell Center, and together we make a great team. How about that? How about that for own self-praise? Okay, so in second place we have Calorie Assist. And of course, that would mean that in first place, we have Second Chance Studios. Okay, if you will go over there and get some pictures. Perfect. All right, so that leads us to our Chester County Startup Track. In second place, we have Epic. I forgot to call up Paul from Univest to help me present these awards. Thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
There you go. Sorry. There you go. And in first place, we have Nikki Go. And if you will wait over there, we'll do some photo ops. So we'll do a little drum roll before we get to our overall winner. A couple of pick opportunities we want to have full. And to present the overall winner, I would call up Paul, please, from Meridian Bank. Okay, we'll get the prize. Actually, before I present the overall pitch, Monica, could you come up here with me for a second? We're going to have a little other commercial here. I have another special award that I do not want to forget, and so we'll keep in suspense a little bit longer who the overall winner is this evening. I would like to have Lisa Bryant come on up here. We'd like to present a special recognition plaque to you as our Entrepreneur in Residence from 2022-2023. Congratulations. Okay, we'll get that fixed. Just a little levity. That was right. Laugh.
Can you say, oops?
Hey. We need to get that taken care of.
Okay, let's get to the overall winner for the evening.
Tony's not here. Where's Tony? Costa Rica.
Okay, the grand prize winner, the overall winner of the 2022-2023 Business Idea Competition and the Business Idea Pitch is Nikki Go.
We'd also like to add that some of the judges were so impressed with that presentation that we're going to commit to fund that 1,000-bottle run of samples.
And I would like to mention, I know that he's not here, Patrick Hayakawa with I2N and the Chester County Economic Development Council, both EPIC and Nikigo have been working with our Chester County Economic Development Council, as well as I2N, of which the Cottrell Center is a board member. So it's really great full circle, and happy to see development within our county. Really, really great stuff happening here. So I want to send out a final thank you to our judges, of course, to our wonderful sponsors from Univest and Meridian, and to my partners and to everyone else, and to anyone that would like to stick around. It is just around 7 o'clock. So we're going to try and stream the State System Startup Challenge. You are welcome to continue to network, talk to some of our participants, enjoy some refreshments. And I want to thank, of course, Howard Lubert for all of his wonderful moderating and being with us for 11 years and getting this off the ground and making it bigger and better every year, right?
Thanks, Patty. The problem with programs like this is everybody works very hard to screen everything down to a night like this, and then if we're not careful, things just dissolve. So I'd like to make a commitment right now, with the help of the Control Center, to set up a session before the end of the year for each and every one of the companies that got to here tonight. And we will set up a structured meeting where we will meet with you and give you as much feedback as we possibly can, and perhaps start a mentoring program to help you along the way, so that what you did today doesn't stop here today, and we'll help you get the rest of the way, okay?
Danny Apex Productions.